This video will deal with Royce's ethics of loyalty. It relies upon some earlier videos, so I'll put a link in the description if you want to check those out before you look at this particular video. But just as a quick summary, Royce defines loyalty as the willing and practical and thoroughgoing devotion of a person to a cause. In addition, he argues that being loyal, having loyalty in your life, is the ultimate individual good. Royce gives two arguments for this. The first argument is that the reason loyalty is the ultimate individual good, it's that which makes your life better, is because it solves the central problem of your existence, which is it allows you to answer what you should do with your life. In addition, Royce also argues that one of the reasons you should accept loyalty as the ultimate individual good is because all the other candidates are not very good, not very attractive. So we looked at other candidates which included things like the ultimate goal is happiness or pleasure, trying to find the best social fit in life, the acquisition of power, autonomy, inner spiritual peace. For Royce, having a cause to which you can be loyal to is better than all of these alternatives. So this gives you a second reason why you should accept Royce's view that loyalty is the ultimate individual good. As I mentioned, this video concerns the ethics of loyalty, so it has to do with morality. Certainly, if we think about the fact that my loyalty is the ultimate good for me, it's what makes my life go better, and your loyalty is the ultimate good for you, it's what makes your life go better. There are cases where we might say, well, we need to insert ethics into this situation, into this analysis, because your pursuit of your ultimate good and my pursuit of my ultimate good might conflict. So given this conflict, what the natural response might be is that, well, I'm going to regard your particular cause to which you're loyal to as being evil, grotesque, horrible, and I'll say, you shouldn't pursue that particular cause. And what are you going to do? You're going to say, well, my loyalty is good for me, and it conflicts with yours, so no, it's you, bozo. Your cause is the one that is wrong, mistaken, evil. And so, from each of our perspectives, we regard the other individual's cause to which they're loyal to be wrong, mistaken, or evil. And so we need a way to resolve that. We need a way to determine whose cause is good and whose cause is evil. And that's what this video is about, determining which are the good loyalties or the acts or causes that are good and which ones are evil or wrong or mistaken. I'm going to jump right into Royce's argument for the conclusion that increasing loyalty in the world is a good action and decreasing loyalty in the world is a bad action. The argument is very simple. It starts with the premise that loyalty is the ultimate individual good. That is, loyalty, finding a cause to which you can freely, practically, and thoroughly serve, is that which makes individuals' lives better. It's the ultimate individual good. The second premise is any action that decreases individual good in the world is a bad action, is evil. And any action that increases individual good in the world is a good action. So it would be a morally good thing to do. And so this takes us to our conclusion. The conclusion then is acts that increase loyalty in the world, which is what Royce takes to be the ultimate individual good, are good actions, and acts that decrease loyalty in the world are bad or evil actions. Examples are pretty easy to think of. So I'm an instructor, I'm an educator, and so let's say I take my cause to be the increased amount of education in students or people in the world. Well, there's ways I can pursue this particular cause that would be better or worse according to Royce's definition or account of what makes an action good or bad. I could try to create an environment and construct my courses in a way that facilitate education. I could create an environment where students are free to ask questions, or I could try to cultivate their capacity to learn on their own, so autonomy. I could develop challenging and entertaining activities. And all of this would increase the overall amount of loyalty in the world, because what would happen? Well, students themselves might say, well, this is a kind of fun environment to be in, and so not only are you trying to pursue this particular cause, but I'm going to opt in as well. I'm going to make my own education and the education of my classmates also a goal, also a cause to which I serve. So what I've done is create an environment that actually increases loyalty, increases the number of individuals that make that cause as their own. Now, if I created an environment where I just shut students down, I said everything that they said is wrong, I was mean about things, I obscured the sort of assignment details and things like that, then it's likely that very few students would take their own philosophical education as a cause to which they could be loyal to. And so this would not be an action. Creating a negative classroom environment would not be a particular type of action that would increase loyalty. In fact, it would decrease loyalty. And so this would be regarded as our evil act. So one interesting thing about this particular conclusion that Royce argues for, which is that increasing loyalty is a good and decreasing loyalty is evil, is that I don't actually need to increase your loyalty to my particular cause. I only need to increase your overall amount of loyalty in order to do a good action. So I might be, let's say, committed to conservative political principles, but provided I serve this particular cause in a way that increases your loyalty, I don't need to increase your loyalty to my particular conservative political agenda. Instead, if my behavior encourages you to be more devoted towards your liberal principles, then I've succeeded in doing something good. I've increased the overall amount of loyalty in the world. So the action is good not just if it increases loyalty for my particular personal cause, but increases loyalty to any particular cause. Another interesting feature about Royce is not only his definition of loyalty, but this particular claim that actions that increase loyalty are good, is that every act or instance of loyalty is good to some degree. So provided you're loyal to something, some cause, then your action has some goodness to it. It's never going to be wholly evil. The reason for this is because when you serve a particular cause, that cause, at least given Royce's definition of loyalty, has to be a social cause. It has to be a cause that other individuals could, in principle, serve. And so since you are actually serving this particular cause with your actions, then you help sustain this possible cause that's out there that other individuals can buy into. And so your service also makes other individuals' loyalty possible. And so the basic idea is, since you've increased the overall opportunities for loyalty, you have done something good, even if your cause is an evil cause. Let me give you an example about how every instance of loyalty is good to some degree. Let's say I'm on a team and the cause to which I'm loyal to is to win. And of course, let's say you're on the other team and your cause is to also win. So our causes are in conflict with each other. Well, Royce will say that in virtue of me having a cause, which is to win, insofar as I increase loyalty or the opportunities for loyalty, I've done a good thing. And even though our causes are in conflict, our conflicting loyalties are to some extent mutually beneficial for both of us. So in serving the cause which is to win, not only do I make the loyalties of my teammates possible, now they can have the same cause that I do, but also make your cause possible. I make your loyalty possible. Because without me, without some enemy to defeat, you could not be loyal to your cause. You couldn't win if there weren't any opponents. So insofar as an act is good insofar as it increases loyalty, and bad insofar as it decreases loyalty, another question that we might have, though, is what are the good and bad causes? Loyalty requires a commitment to a cause, and we don't think that any cause is worthy of our loyalty. So we need a way of determining which are the good causes, the morally good causes, and which ones are the morally evil causes. For Royce, the answer is pretty simple. A cause is good to the extent that it increases the overall amount of loyalty in the world. And he has a kind of interesting way of putting this. He says your cause is good insofar as it is a loyalty to loyalty. And the idea here is that you're loyal to, you try to increase into the world the overall amount of loyalty in the world. So your cause is good so far as it increases loyalty. And obviously your cause is evil insofar as it decreases the overall amount of loyalty in the world. And so a bad cause or an evil cause is what Royce would say is a kind of loyalty to disloyalty, or loyalty to the destruction of loyalty. So this gives us a way, again, a continuum, because some causes are going to be better than others, for determining which are the good causes, the ones worthy of our loyalty, and which ones are the bad causes, the ones that are not worthy of our loyalty. So concerning the goodness and badness of causes, Royce says pretty clearly, And so a cause is good not only for me, but for mankind insofar as it is essentially a loyalty to loyalty. That is an aid and a furtherance of loyalty in my fellows. And then he defines an evil cause as it is an evil cause insofar as, despite the loyalty that it arouses in me, it is destructive of loyalty in the world of my fellows. As an educator, I'm going to take my own particular cause to be a good cause, to be one that increases the overall amount of loyalty in the world. I'm going to take my cause to be the increased education of young people, and I'm going to think that this particular cause allows other individuals to find what they ultimately want to do, as well as serve those particular causes. And so I'm going to take my own particular cause to be an increase of loyalty, cause an increase of loyalty. And so insofar as it increases loyalty in the world, it's a good cause. And then obviously I'm going to take some causes to be evil. Those causes that rely upon destroying other individuals' lives would be an example of a case where this individual is not increasing loyalty. In addition, any activity that blocks people from being loyal to a particular cause, someone that reduces the number of opportunities of a particular group to pursue what causes they can be loyal to, would be another example of an individual serving an evil cause. One issue, though, is even though we might have a criteria for determining which acts are good and which ones are bad, and we might also have a definition for determining which are the causes that are good and which ones are bad, we don't have a principle of selection. How do I go about choosing, of all the number of causes, which one I ought to serve? In addition, even if I have a cause to which I'm loyal to, how should I serve that particular cause? There are a number of ways of being an educator, a fireman, a teacher, an economist. There's all sorts of causes that people pursue, but how ought they pursue them? So what we need is a principle of selection. One possible answer, one possible theory that we could use for how you should go about choosing particular causes is the maximization principle, which is you look at all of the causes and you have to pick the cause that increases the overall amount of loyalty in the world. This seems obvious. It seems like, yeah, if doing the right thing is increasing loyalty, then I should pick the cause that increases loyalty in the world. That's the morally right thing to do. Royce rejects this particular option. The reason Royce rejects this particular option is because remember what loyalty involves. Loyalty involves the willing and practical and thoroughgoing commitment to a cause. And that cause an individual has to find value in. So if you had a bunch of causes and you told the individual you had to pick a particular cause that maximized loyalty, if that individual cannot serve that cause freely, thoroughgoingly, willingly, and they don't find value in it, then you're asking them to do something that they simply can't do. You're asking them to do something impossible. And so Royce looks like he ascribes to the idea that an ethical theory shouldn't ask you to do something impossible for you to do. This is a practical impossibility. It's not that you can take that cause that maximizes loyalty and just will yourself into valuing it. For Royce, you have to actually have some personal interest in the cause, and insofar as the particular cause that maximizes loyalty is not one that you value or that you could, let's say, give your life towards, an ethical theory that requires you to do that, Royce would say, is a mistaken ethical theory. So here's an example. Let's say there's some cause out there right now that would maximize loyalty in the world. Let's say it's become a mathematics teacher or devote your life to the environment or something like that. All these causes are good causes, and insofar as they increase loyalty, it would be good to do them. But a principle that says you have to take this particular cause, this is the one that you must do, and if you don't do it, then you've done something wrong, looks to be mistaken. Because if you can't tolerate the goal of mathematics education, if it's one that would make you miserable, then it's not something that you can actually be loyal to because you don't have a personal interest in it. You don't take it to be objectively valuable, and it's not one you can serve thoroughly. So another way of putting this particular objection is that ethical systems are supposed to be for people, not for angels. And if I can't freely, thoroughly, and practically serve a particular cause, it seems wrong of an ethical system to require me to do that when that's outside of the scope of possibility for me. So Royce thinks that we need to make the particular principle of choice a little bit more practical. And so here's the principle that he comes up with. I'm going to read the passage because the language is somewhat important. He says that the principle is now obvious. I may state it thus. Insofar as it lies in your power, so choose your cause and so serve it, that by reason of your choice and of your service, there shall be more loyalty in the world rather than less. And in fact, so choose and so serve your individual cause as to secure thereby the greatest possible increase of loyalty amongst men. More briefly, in choosing and in serving the cause to which you are to be loyal, be, in any case, loyal to loyalty. So a couple observations. The first observation is that Royce does not require you to pick the particular cause that would theoretically maximize loyalty. He says you should, though, pick the cause that you can be loyal to that would increase the overall amount of loyalty in the world. So for those that want to know what the practical message is of all this, what you should do is the following. First, start by writing down all the causes that you think you can be loyal to. These would be all the causes that you think that you could willingly, thoroughgoingly, practically, and in a sustained manner be devoted to. So if it's, let's say, homemaker and doctor and lawyer and politician, those would be your set of kind of professions mostly that you think you could be committed to. Now, with that selection in mind, if you wanted to make an ethical choice, what you would do for Royce is to pick from that set of causes those causes that you think would maximize the overall amount of loyalty in the world. So if you said, well, I could be trained thief, or I could, let's say, be a, librarian. Well, if you think, I think a librarian is going to increase the overall amount of loyalty in the world, you should pick the librarian choice over the thief. The second observation I want to make is that the causes that we can conceivably pick from to be loyal to are going to differ from person to person. The cause that I can be loyal to is going to differ from those that you can be loyal to. This might have to do with economic reasons, educational ones, medical ones, and perhaps just experiences that make us value different things. The short of it is we're picking from causes that we can potentially be loyal to, not all of the causes that are available out there. And that subset of causes that we choose from are going to differ from person to person. Royce's principle not only applies to the selection of causes, but also how you should serve your cause. This is an important point, and it's an interesting one too, because it has some practical consequences that you wouldn't expect. So here's an example. Let's say I'm strongly committed to conservative principles. So I vote Republican or whatever. Now, the way that I should serve this particular cause is, at least according to Royce, in a way that increases the overall amount of loyalty in the world. So let's say I come into contact with an individual that disagrees with me. The way I serve this conservative principle is not by shutting other individuals down, not causing them to disengage from political discourse. That would be unethical in Royce's terms, because I'm serving my conservative cause in an evil way, in a way that decreases the overall amount of loyalty in the world. Now, I might win my political goals, I might win my political agenda, but I'm doing it in the wrong way. Instead, what I need to do is engage with you in such a way that either causes you to, let's say, become loyal to my particular principle, or to become more loyal to your particular political viewpoint, to become more aware, more thoroughly, practically, and willingly committed to your liberal agenda. That's the ethical way, or at least according to Royce, to engage in political discussion. The goal is not alienation, shutting individual down, winning the argument per se, but is instead increasing the overall amount of loyalty in the world. So it would be the practical application of not just the selection of a cause, but how do we go about serving that cause in a loyal way? For Royce, we would do the following. We would think about the causes to which we're loyal to. Then we would think about all the conceivable ways that we could serve that particular cause. Now, from all of those different ways that we could serve the cause, we would choose from this set those ways that we could willingly serve, that cause, but also the ways that would maximize loyalty. So in this video, we covered 3 points. The first is that an act is good insofar as it increases loyalty and bad insofar as it decreases loyalty. Secondly, a cause is good insofar as it increases loyalty and evil insofar as it decreases loyalty. The final point is that Royce gives a principle for selecting your causes. Namely, he says, look at all the available causes you could be loyal to and choose the cause from that set, the one that would maximize loyalty. And then when thinking about serving the particular cause to which you can be loyal, you should think about all of the different ways that you could serve the cause and then serve it in a way that would increase the overall amount of loyalty in the world. Next time we'll look at objections to Royce's ethics of loyalty.